another lesson there that we can add is that the first time you do it doesn't necessarily mean that that's bad content. It just means that maybe you packaged it in a way that was different. I've seen videos on TikTok of people be like, I've posted the same video 4 different times. I changed the hook. I changed the ending. I made it a loop instead of a question at the end. There's multiple ways that you can repackage the same piece of content and have it do well. For example, an experience that I will never forget is a video that I made that I was really proud of, but it got like 5,000 views. And I was like, damn, I spent like 3 hours editing this, bro. There's no way this got like 5,000 views. I posted it on Instagram and it got like 300K views. So maybe it wasn't that the video was bad. Maybe it was just that I repackaged it really horribly for that specific platform. And you never know. Maybe you just have to make the video 3 seconds shorter or use a different trending audio or maybe change the hook. But you'll never know unless you iterate.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Behind the Stream podcast, episode number 16. I am greatly honored to be joined by Jose today. We've been following each other on TikTok for a while. Really excited to have you and just get deep into kind of all things content, streaming, TikTok, shorts, OBS. We were recently just talking before we came on. So how's it going?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. The honor is mine, man. I've been a huge fan of your page and what you've been able to do and kind of inspiring people to create and letting people know the ins and outs of what the streamer space is, the content space is, because the sky's the limit, but this is basically the Wild West right now. So I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Sweet, nice one. Well, let's get straight into it because I am like really interested to know your background coming into content. I only can see what you do today, and it is a complete variety and I'd love to know how you describe your content like today versus like what did you start? How did you start creating content and how did you get to like what you do today?
Okay, so I had a kind of a non-traditional approach to this. So to give you a little bit of a background, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. So I've been exposed to media both in Spanish and English for all of my life. Huge pop culture nerd, movies, TV, anime, video games, everything, right? And so I was in grad school, finished and by the time that I was finishing grad school, I had already expressed to my best friend actually like 2 years before I even got to grad school, I think I want to give this YouTube thing a try. I've always been a huge consumer of YouTube content and streaming as well as it started, progressing. And then once the Panini started, I was in grad school and I had been saving up money for a while to have my PC and then just start my journey at some point, right? As soon as I started, got a job, had a salary that I could, funnel some money into the passion project. And then the pandemic started. And I was like, look, I still have the money saved up. I'm saving up a little bit more money once I'm going to start working because I already had a job offer. So I'm like, I think I can start making videos on this TikTok thing that's coming out because people are blowing up. And I'm like, my rationale is the rule of 10%, right? So if I get 1,000 followers, at best case scenario, let's say 10% of people watch me stream. That's a W for me because that's a W for me. So I just started posting and it was a grind. Like I started posting on TikTok and I didn't see any growth for like 4 months. But I used that as my proving ground. I was like, I'm gonna post
That's
about I'm gonna post about whatever it is that I love. So I posted crossover videos between different universes. So I talked about so for example, and I love this. I love this to this day because I'm not a power scaler. I'm not sure if you're familiar with like anime power scalers where it's like, he's done this, this, and this. He's done this, this, and this. He could win in a fight. I'm like, no. Simple terms. What if Godzilla made his way to Attack on Titan? Think about that for a second. So it's like, so things like that just pop into my brain, and I talk with my friends on Discord or on my calls, just like things about like, man, what if Superman did meet Goku? What would happen? So like I talked about that. I talked about my comparisons over Harry Potter and Percy Jackson. So things that were popular to me in growing up and things that I knew people had an interest with because of the movies that were coming out and the TV shows that were coming out. I just posted that for months. Sometimes it would do horribly. And sorry.
What's horribly? What's kind of what were your baseline figures at this point, like from a viewpoint and like followers, like
100 views.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
100
That's cool.
views.
That's
And,
nice to hear.
and
'Cause that's,
again, everybody starts somewhere, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not diminishing the grind, because I know exactly what that position is, and I just
Yeah.
started 2 new pages, and I'm back in that grind again. I'm not diminishing
Yeah.
wherever you are as a creator. Trust me, that's where you learn to trust yourself, to be comfortable in front of the camera. Those are skills that are going to be transferable for your entire career. But in my case, for example, I had managed to get like 1,000. I managed to get my first 1,000 followers, and I was like, damn, this is really inconsistent. Like 10 views, 7 views, or whatever. And then out of the blue, I had a couple of videos that I thought. Small story short, I was thinking, I'm gonna do everything myself. I'm gonna do all of my graphic design eventually. When I'm like Mr. Beast, I'm gonna do everything myself and whatever. So like, I started making art videos. Which is completely different, but I was making art videos to kind of polish myself up, so when I have money, I can do my own graphic design. So I made art videos, and that was my first video to ever do well. It was an art video about Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z. So that one did well, and I was like, as soon as I got that first taste, I went nuts. So I went around from like 1,000 followers to like 3,000 in that sort of like 4-month period, and then I started posting 4, 5, even 9 times a day. I was going crazy. I do not recommend doing 9 a day.
9.
I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it. But I used it in terms of like, okay, I need to figure out what my style is, like voice wise, cadence, how to edit, like all of that. The more reps you put in, the more you learn. And obviously,
just testing, right?
And then my friends were like coming to me like this, and I never took it. This is a piece of advice that I'm going to give everybody, as if you're watching. Do not take criticism to heart so harshly when you're starting, because that is all feedback. That's all good feedback that you can use to get better. So, for example, some of my friends, who are my best friends, are very honest with me. I'm like, this is cringe. This sucks. This is way too long. This is like, you rambled for like 10 seconds straight. Yeah. And like, that's perfect, because that way you can, okay, I can cut this. I can use these quips. I can start to build, a rapport with my audience with certain jokes. So that is all good feedback at the beginning. And then to wrap up the story, as soon as I like hit that 4 or 5 month mark, I had my first viral video. And that one hit like 2 million views in like a day. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. I went from like 4,000 followers to 40,000 in a day.
Oh, really?
In a day. So it was like,
what was it?
I was ranking the Jokers. Ranking the performances of the Joker. So after that, I went ham. I was like, okay, let's rank the Spider-Man. Let's rank my favorite Spider-Man. So that's when I started like talking more about comics, and that's when it started building. And ever since that point, it's been like up and down. So there's been moments where like views are consistent, views are not consistent, and then the moment where I truly did like, where I truly think that I got established is around 2021, where I was stuck at like the 500K to 700K mark for a while. And obviously that's when I started to think maybe I have to go a little bit harder on other platforms. So I started doing Instagram. I started doing YouTube. I started a Twitch channel because by this point I had my setup. I had already moved. I already had some money saved up. So I started to get up harder into the production of like, I had to make a little bit of higher quality to stand out. And at 2021, I had an idea with a friend to just like spam a certain type of content with a really trending audio, and I spammed it for like a month straight. Obviously, it was like different iterations and covering different things. But for example, I was covering mythology because I love Percy Jackson. So I covered all of the Greek gods, the Roman gods, the Egyptian gods. And there was a point where, dude, I crossed, I think it was 170 million views on a month in TikTok, which is crazy. Like my highest viewed video was there. I was like, that's crazy. And I was like, this is nuts. So that's when I went from like 700K to 1 million in like a week. So it's
what were you said? So you were doing mythology format and style the same, just variation of.
So there was an audio. There was a trending audio that like was like just like it was a really epic audio. So I just made skits about, like, for example, me having friends that were demigods, and it's like, oh no, yeah, it's just like, for example, dude, why are you so mad? We're at the beach. It's like, bro, I know it's out there. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, it's the Charybdis. And it's like that my biggest viewed video is just me like being like, it's definitely out there, and it's just a monster from the Odyssey, which shows up in Percy Jackson. And like people ate that up. And then I had like, it happened on Instagram where people were asking me another thing, for example, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. As soon as the video started to die down, I put them up on Instagram. And then I don't think TikTok is in India. So I started posting videos about, like, for example, the Indian deities, which is obviously like there's a gray line that you have to toe there. And obviously I was asking my audience for how to respectfully portray these deities, but they were eating that up. And then I went from like having no presence on Instagram to over 150,000 followers on Instagram out of the blue. So like it's experimentation is the key, at least for me. Now it's more of like quality versus quantity. Where does my time make the most sense to do? But for all intents and purposes, sorry for rambling. For anybody that's new, make sure you experiment early and often. And my biggest advice from somebody that like has been in every single platform you can imagine, do not put all of your eggs in one basket. Learn to like repost effectively, and also schedule your time. That is your biggest asset. Make sure you schedule your time and you put your effort where you think it'll make the most sense.
Nice. So I want to get on to, like, I often ask the same question here because it always it's something that always really interests me, is like your content workflow is just like what I would like to go get a bit of understand, like from idea to posting on TikTok, like how do you, because when you're posting 9 times a day before, or that high cadence, and there's so much variety in your TikTok content, like how, talk me through like the last week, like how are you planning all your content and ideas and execution?
So I am a big fan of Notion. Or Trello, Notion or Trello or whatever whichever one you desire. There's a lot of content creators on TikTok and on Instagram and on Twitter that provide a lot of good templates for making a content workflow, a content calendar. And the one that I have right now basically just allows me to, like, it has a template that it's built. So for example, if I have an idea, I just think of the title, and then it just gives me hook ideas, references, script, on-screen CTA at the end, which for people that are new, call to action. That's when you ask people to subscribe or follow or whatever. So what I do is that I have my Notion open, and as soon as like I have an idea that I've written on pen and paper is great for just writing out ideas, because your mind just starts focusing on what's on in front of you in the page. And that's worked for me, at least. So I write down a bunch of ideas, take an hour out of your day to just brainstorm whatever it is you can think of. There's a new movie coming out. What movies did I like when I was a kid? What was the best year for movies for me? Music was better like 10 years ago. What were my favorite songs like 10 years ago? Like, you can just think of anything that comes into your brain, just write it down as a brainstorm, and then use a platform like Trello, Notion, whichever one you want, to kind of go deeper into those ideas. And then from that, you can basically create recurring series and stuff like that. So for example, I'll give you a concrete example. So I'm doing, a couple of days or weeks ago, I started thinking of I love anime. A lot of people don't know how to start watching anime. So I started a series, how to start watching anime. To me, like, in my opinion, what's the best way to start watching anime? So I said, okay, I would start by like looking at the platforms that allow me to watch anime. Where should I start? Which shows are good for beginners? And all of that led into like a 30-part series that I already have scheduled out, that all I have to do is record. So I just script in my free time. But that little moment of being like, how can I help people start watching anime? Or how do I help people start playing video games? Just with that single idea, as soon as you start writing and letting your creativity flow, it basically just writes itself. All you have to focus now is on the script, the CTA, the right formatting for you and your audience. But I'm the type of person that like loves to brainstorm all in one shot. So so for example, I again, another example, I started making a series of I was like, I really loved this video game. I was playing God of War like a couple of weeks ago, just getting back to it. It's like, damn, this is one of like the best moments that I've experienced playing a video game. So I was like, okay, let's talk about the best moments in video game history. And I already have a 15-part series of like things that I remember from my past or games that are recent that I know my audience and new audiences will relate to, because these are like some of the best moments for gamers. So like, again, just giving yourself that time daily to brainstorm goes a long way. Now, I don't recommend going 9 a day. So for example, the big thing for me is try to put out one good piece of content a day. If you can do another one, which is just like quick on your phone, if it's news or reaction, that's fine. Posting once a day seems like a lot, but honestly, you can get that done in 15 minutes. It's getting to the point where like you can react to something in 15 minutes and be done. And that's your post for the day. Don't worry about the views. Don't worry about just make sure that the formatting is right, that your captions are okay, that you can schedule it, stuff like that. Because not everybody's full time, right? That was a big thing for me. I was doing a full time job and posting 3 to 4 times a day, every single day for 397 days straight. I counted it.
Wow.
Yeah, I was doing a full time job and posting 3 times a day on every single platform for 397 days, and it took a lot out of me. So burnout is a real thing. That's another thing we can get to at some point. But I would say scheduling is your best friend.
Yeah. So do you like, how far in advance do you schedule for the week, a few days, like?
So right now, that's where I'm trying to find balance of like scheduling for this week versus scheduling like for later. Because obviously, for example, if things come out on a daily basis, right? So there's news, there's new, especially in my niche, which is just pop culture, which is, I like to say that I don't have a niche because everything falls into whatever. So like right now,
you don't have a niche.
Yeah,
there's no need.
Yeah, there's no niche. Yeah. So like
I can't work it out.
Yeah. So like so right now, for example, I know today there's like a movie that I want to talk about. Hogwarts Legacy is coming out in 7 days. There's a The Last of Us episode is coming out this Sunday. So like I just think of everything that's happening and I schedule myself out now to be like, okay, in the morning I'll talk about this. If I can't do it, I'll do it in the afternoon, and then just have an evergreen piece of content that I can do to pair with it. So like I need to give myself time for the production, because now it's a little bit more involved. I use Premiere Pro. I have editors working now that like can help me get some quicker videos out, but I don't want to lose that sense of scheduling, because that's what keeps me sane. Like if I do everything as it comes, I don't get anything done. So I focus on making sure that the evergreen stuff, which means that it can live on forever for everybody that's new. Like it's content that like will never go out of style, because it's just something that you can constantly rewatch. And something that's like newsworthy, I can balance those two. So if I don't put anything evergreen out for like 3 days, that's fine, because that's already scheduled out for next week. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good. I like the way that you kind of said earlier about the one a day, like planning one a day, but also potentially posting another one that's more improv, like just record news. I think because you don't. I think that the planned ones can be high quality because you plan them and you can script them and that, but like I think sometimes you can't beat the rawness and excitement of like the improv ones where you just pick up and just do it, right? Like I think it's really good to have a balance of both, and if you have an improv one, on a day, post it. If you don't, it doesn't matter, because you've got your one that's like the schedule and the scripted one, and if you can't post today just because the scripted one's just not ready, then I don't know, it doesn't matter, does it? Like, it
does not matter.
People get too tied up on like missing a day of posting, but like in reality, like it doesn't. Does it matter? Like,
that's another thing that I'd love to just tackle on a little bit. Taking breaks is super important. That's something I've realized now after being three years in the game. I took my first big vacation last year, where I was like, I spent 15 days without posting. And I was so afraid that the world is gonna fall. The world is gonna fall. Irrelevancy. I was like, there's no way this is gonna work, bro. It was 15 days of pure bliss. Pure bliss. It was just like, wow, time to myself, time to not worry, and just be like, things are happening, fine, let them happen. There's going to be more movies and more TV shows and more news happening tomorrow. The news cycle will go on forever. Your peace of mind will run out at some point. So make sure that you take some time for yourself to think about your mental health. I highly suggest reaching out if you ever need help. And the main thing, for example, one reason why I said yes to this, like from the jump, is because I love talking to other creators. That's the other thing. Like when you have somebody to talk to that understands the grind, understands that feeling of inadequacy, the imposter syndrome, that understands all of that, you start to develop ways to cope with the anxiety that can happen when you're producing a lot of content and putting a lot of yourself out there. Because obviously, like this is putting your personality online for people to consume. It does take a toll on you. So I would say breaks, having a good support system, and recognizing when you need help is a key to success in this industry that people don't talk about a lot.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, a lot of people don't talk about it. I think a lot of creators don't talk about it, which is I'm exactly the same with you. I enjoy talking to other creators about it because you get that sort of connection through understanding of the grind that you go through, or like, because I did a video the other day. Like, content creation can be a lonely space because you are a freelance. Let's say you're not working for a company. You're not a business. You are a business, but you're a sole, like just a sole person in most cases, and you haven't got a team of people. A lot of people don't have a big team of people to help and support. You got to kind of find that yourself. It can be hard. I say can. It is hard. It is hard. That's undeniable. But yeah, I am interested in talking more. Like, so a big thing on my kind of list to talk was like your hooks. I want to talk about your hooks because I really like your hooks.
Thank you.
They are, I can tell that you put a lot of thought into them.
Yeah.
That's why I like them.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering like what your thesis and like is on hooks, and how you generate those based off the content that you create. Do you have what sort of formula do you use? You say you got your template with the hooks.
Yeah.
Because hooks are undeniably the most important thing on TikTok. They are. How do you stop the scroll? You stop the scroll with the hook. And I'm forever trying to learn how to be better at doing that. Never know what's going to stop people. I just wonder, what insights have you got? What insights have you got from your kind of the hundreds of TikToks and hooks you've created?
So again, another thing, Notion. I follow a lot of content creator strategists on TikTok, and some of them have created like hooks that anybody can use. So one thing that everybody emphasizes, right, and this is good if you're trying to do a transition, which is something that I'm currently doing, and I know a lot of creators are trying to do. If you're trying to transition from just doing short form content to long form content, that hook is super important. So TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts are a great way for you to test yourself and prove yourself that you can keep audience retention in those first 3 seconds. Those first 2 to 3 seconds are key for you to get at somebody's attention. Sorry, there was like a spider in my yeah. So those first 3 seconds are key, right? So you have to make sure that your storytelling is on point. So for example, I have 3 here. This is exactly why X thing never worked for me. 3 reasons why X is the best thing I've ever tried. Here's a simple tip if you want to do X, Y, or Z. X tools or three things that help me do X, Y, and Z on the editing side, or something like that. Like, make sure that you can get something, get an emotional response from your viewer to be like, I'm interested in this. Okay, I'll bite. Yeah. If you especially on TikTok, which and short form in general, where that attention span is so short in terms of like getting people to actually connect immediately, just be yourself. So for example, a video that I started, a format that I started to do For example, when I'm doing movie reviews, is like, this is me 30 minutes before watching X, Y, or Z movie. That's and
I've seen those,
yeah.
yeah.
So that it's just like it's a simple sentence, takes 3 seconds. It's like, okay, I know what he's gonna do. He's about to watch a movie. The factor of surprise is there because I need to know, is he actually gonna like the movie? Does the movie suck? Like, all of those questions happen subconsciously in the viewer. You don't have to say it out loud. So for example, if I you don't have to be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing that I've ever done. You're not going to believe what happens in this. You already lost 4 seconds. You already lost 4 seconds. Be like, this is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Boom. And then you show whatever it is, or you have that factor of surprise. Whatever's in this box is going to like mess up my day or give me the best thing ever. Things like that evoke an emotional response are key for storytelling. So right now, what I'm doing is trying to adapt that from a short form point of view to long form. So for example, instead of doing it like 3 tips or whatever, it's like, in this video, I'm going to cover everything that I loved and everything that I hated about Sonic 2. By that point, people know exactly what the video is about, whether they want to keep watching, and whether they think it's worth it to go forward to the end. So, for example, a video that I did recently was like, here's 7 details that you missed in this movie's trailer, and the last one is the one that's going to shock you the most. That gets people to think, okay, this is what I'm expecting. This is this is the topic of the video, and I know that at the end I'm going to get some sort of gratification by watching everything and staying till the end to cover that last point. So that's more on the long form side, but on the short form side, I would just say develop a couple of formats that work for you. So, for example, just an idea that came to my head for you, for example, here are 3 tools that could help out any streamer start. Any beginner streamer, and then you just number them out. By that point, they know the video's about streaming. There's going to be tools and tips involved, and there's 3 of them, so I can stay till the end. That's it.
Yeah, I like the kind of quantitative piece on the hook, like the 3 or the 4 or the 2. Yeah, one thing that I don't really do, but I can see how you've just explained it. It's like if you tell them how many you're going to say, and
there's an expectation,
like you said, give some sort of explanation of like, the first one is this, the second one is this, the third one is the one that's like, oh fuck, like, and then they kind of like, they subconsciously, well, I kind of want to hear what he or she has to say and see whether I agree with it or disagree with it. And if I guess I'm sure that you probably create pieces of content that intentionally is polarizing a little bit, so that there's always going to be opinions of agreeing and disagreeing, because I know that content usually gets loads of views, and I'm sure you probably get tons of comments disagreeing with the things that you say, because it's just pop culture, isn't it? Everyone has their own opinion.
You can use that to your advantage. And so, for example, I've one format that I used to do that I don't do as much because it takes a little bit longer to get the punchline across, is just conversations with myself. So, for example, I'm looking here, right? So I'm looking at one side of the camera, and then the other version of me like has the hat backwards and is just reacting to that. So like, for example, I would start the video. They're gonna hate this video, and I'm like, I don't care. It's the truth. And I'm like, what are you gonna tell them? Goku sucks as a father. And by that point, you have all the people that love Dragon Ball being like, Goku does not suck as a father. Vegeta's the one that sucks as a father. So by that point, you have people hooked. But obviously, it's just a different format of how you get your point across. I could easily just go out here, guns blazing, negative Nancy, Goku sucks, and this is why. Anger does not hook people as much as intrigue does. Why does Goku suck? Why does he think people are going to hate this video? All of those questions happen subconsciously. So that's just my tidbit of advice. Use people's curiosity to hook them. That's all I'm saying.
That's solid. No, that's solid. Like it's that I love that the subconscious piece, isn't it? Like, this is the hook. What subconscious emotions can I react here? Because I always read lots of research about like when you can generate an emotional reaction. That is, I think when it comes to a hook, I read that the biggest percentage that keeps people from staying is emotional hook, and then I think the second is usually fact related. If you state a fact, you're always trying to figure out how can I kind of create some emotion? How can I, or state a fact? Because some people are like, oh wow, this is X amount of people, blah blah blah. Like, so I find that really interesting.
Now that you mentioned that, I have a perfect example for that. A creator that's been blowing up, Dylan Page. He calls himself like the news daddy on TikTok.
I know that. Yeah. I know. I don't know him. He's always on my fucking feed.
He's always there, and I
rate his content and delivery and style. It's super good.
His first of all, the audio, the having people like always recognize, for example, your background or recognize certain words that you do. He's nailed that to a T. Obviously, his editing is on point, but like all of it is facts. It's just news things.
Yeah,
and he's the
it's
number
just like
one
really
news
like it's always really like holy fuck news. It's not like the boring stuff you get on just the broadcast television. It's like, you're not going to believe this, and then there's some sort of video of something. I'm like, because I don't watch any other shit like that, and I don't really like it. I don't hate it. I don't like it. I don't really, but I love the delivery and the way that it's I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot, because I'm like, this guy knows exactly what he's doing. And I'm not surprised people watch, because the way that it's delivered is like, when he's talking about Saudi Arabia
building a huge city,
this glass city. Of course, I'm gonna listen. Of course, I'm watching. Yeah. So it's all like similar stuff like that. You mentioned your long form. Yeah, let's get onto that, because I noticed you've got Tropical Joe, and then you've got Tropical Joe Gaming
and Tropical Joe.
Is this
anime.
Tropical Joe and Tropical Joe Anime?
It's Tropical Weeps.
So
it's all good.
And Tropical Weeps. Yeah, I've got Tropical Weeps. Yeah. So you've got 3. You're pumping out the long form videos. Like
that's the project.
I respect it. Are you getting someone to help you with this? Because there's no way you're doing all of that, surely.
I'm currently in the process of building out the Avengers, man. Because right now, again, and this is just me. This is just my perspective. If you're a creator, YouTube is the end game. It's the truth.
100%. I'm 100%.
It's the truth. If you're a creator, YouTube is the end game. Again, you can use that as a springboard if you're a singer and you want to start doing singing stuff. After that, all of that is fine. TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts are great for exposure. But to make this a career, YouTube is the end game. Unless you like blow up on Twitch. So
facts. Nah.
Yeah.
Facts.
So I would say for me the biggest thing is like, how can I translate the skills that I've gotten through short form to long form? And right now the big thing for me is that like I can't do what I did on TikTok over on YouTube long form, because YouTube specifically is very much audience lens based. So like you have to find a specific person, like your ideal audience, to pump out content for. Some people can make it happen. Those are unicorns in my eyes. So for example, I realized I can't just be making one video about anime, one video about movies, one video about video games, because somebody that's returning and it's like, I don't really care about Halo. I just want to see this guy talk about Marvel or like about the newest TV shows. So that's what I realized late in the game. So now I'm building out a platform so I can be the pop culture guy, but I have everything that you need. So everything is segmented. One channel in Spanish, one channel in English, which is like my like TV and movies in Spanish and English is just 2 channels. Then I have anime, then I have gaming, and then I have a shorts page, which is what I'm trying to do now. So the what my main page is now, I'm thinking about turning that into just a purely shorts page based on like the analytics, what they're telling me, and then just building out a new page for movies and TV for myself. Again, it doesn't hurt to expand. Again, this project could fail. It could be super successful. I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna try it, because I'm not gonna go late into the game with doubts of like, I should have done this, I should have done that. I'm gonna do it while I'm young and see if it works. If it doesn't work, I'll reassess.
You have kind of answered part of my question, but the question I had in my head was, why have you decided to spread across 3 or 4 channels as opposed to just focusing on one? Would be like my question.
I would say the biggest thing for me is that that's just the way that I operate based on my interests. So for example, I don't think I can make a single channel focused on one thing. My brain just doesn't allow me to do that. I consume so much media, and I'm a member of so many different communities that I would feel like I'm holding myself back. But I've realized after 3 years of posting on YouTube specifically that it also is like the algorithm needs you to feed it in a certain way. And like tags matter, optimization matters, thumbnails matter, and all that stuff. And so I can get every part of the puzzle twice. But if I'm blasting out content that doesn't apply to a specific audience that YouTube wants to feed stuff to, it's not going to succeed. So that I spent 3 years making a bunch of content on everything that I loved, and it did lead to some mild success on the YouTube side. I would say I'm moderate. I'm almost about 50K deep there.
Yeah.
But I've realized that like the upside, I'm basically gonna be like hurting myself by like putting out so like just being like screw it, I'm gonna post whatever I want, and like it's just gonna be a lot of to me like. No cook is gonna hate their own food. Everybody thinks their content is great. For me, I'm just gonna say I think I have solid content, like in terms of like the editing, the pacing, and stuff like that. I have solid content.
I can agree with that.
Solid. It's not the best. I'm not Mr. Beast. I'm not like.
It's a good. I would say it's a good standard.
It's a good standard.
A good standard. Yeah.
My audience knows there's a certain quality standard that they're gonna see on my YouTube videos. Let's just say that, and I have a lot to offer. The thing is, I need to show it to the right people so they can resonate with it. And from there, I can develop feedback. Because I've run into the issue, for example, of making a movie review, and they're like, damn, I like this video, but I think you should really start making more anime content. And that sucks. That's great feedback because they're like, yes, I engage with this. But I'm like, I'm leaving stuff on the table. I'm leaving my opinions on the table by not talking about a certain thing because I'm worrying like, this is not going to get as much views or this is not going to help me in the long run. So I'm like, you know what? That's why this year my big project was experimentation. So I have everything on a specific channel. And if you like my style of making content and you resonate with my personality or you resonate with the way that I make videos, you can choose whichever topic you want me to talk about and you'll have that right there. It's all anime or all gaming or all movies or all in Spanish, all in English. Like it's right there, which is exactly what, for example, Jimmy does, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast has created the perfect ecosystem. And although he has like an army of people behind him, that's the basic premise of what he's doing. He has his videos in English, his videos in Spanish, Japanese, Hindi. Like he's making it accessible for people all over the world to watch his content based on the fact that they resonate with him. The way that he makes videos is attractive. So people are going to resonate with that. And he just made it easy for them to engage with that in their own native language, which to me is a huge step forward for every creator.
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. I agree. I follow Mr. Beast doing that. I think it's a very smart move. So your YouTube stuff. Maybe I can share my screen because I have it here. Like you've been posting quite a lot of long form recently, right? So I'm just wondering, like, would you say you're doing a bit more research into what long form to post? What does that look like for you at the moment, as opposed to your short form, which is kind of your off the cuff brainstorming ideas? Would you say you're putting more research into the long form? Will this do well? Or is it again like, I think I'm going to post to this. I'm just wondering, you said to me you're testing at the moment, so I assume you're probably getting some feedback with your numbers, like, hey, I'm going to do this, try this. Yeah. Just curious about that.
I think it's more of a balance. So, for example, if it's TV and movies, for example, right there, 7 details you missed from the Ant-Man trailer, that's something that was off the cuff, like stuff that I found that was interesting to me. But obviously, for example, if there's something trending, like, for example, The Last of Us, episode 2 is going to happen. Episode 3 is going to happen. I know those things are popular. So I think there's a mix of off-the-cuff stuff that you're interested in and stuff that you think is trending or will generate interest. And the best way to check on that is, for me, Google Trends. Google Trends is huge.
Okay.
I use vidIQ, but that's because I've been... I've been used to their format of like identifying keywords and stuff like that. And I also started using this website called Answer the People.
Yeah, I know.
I love that website.
You know that? Yeah, it's
website.
good. Yeah, I saw Think Media. I saw Think Media's TikTok on it.
Damn.
Just vidIQ. Would you pay for any of? Do you pay for one of the tiers?
I pay for it. I pay for
all
of my.
Which one do you pay for?
The $79 a month, which covers 3 of my channels.
What is it that you find the most value?
Keyword optimization, tag optimization, analyzing tags from other creators. So it allows you to see like what tag, like without clicking into the video, it allows you to see what tags other creators are using. So it's like, okay, this seems and it gives you like a breakdown of like what's hot, what's trending, what's just like super niche and stuff like that. And having that at a glance is worth every second, every single cent to me. The free version is also good. I just paid for I paid for more because I wanted that extra functionality on all of my pages. And the other thing that they have is AI generated descriptions, which you can edit. I don't recommend using AI for everything. AI is like a big topic right now. I would definitely recommend trying it to see like, okay, this is how I should make a solid description, and then just reword it in your ways. But like, for example, finding that inspiration is hard, especially if you're doing like multiple videos a day. So I don't think it hurts to put the video out into some AI generator to kind of get an idea of what to do, and then be like, okay, this makes sense. I'll put this in my own words. You're trying to work smarter, not harder. So like that's my take on it. But again, so vidIQ, Google Trends, and Answer the People is really good for answering questions. So like you are basically making your content based on what people are already looking for. So perfect example, Hogwarts Legacy is coming out in 8 days. As soon as the game drops, there's going to be questions on like, what's the best setup? What are the best spells? What are the best houses? What are the biggest Easter eggs? All that stuff is going to be on Answer the People, on Google Trends, and on vidIQ. Like you can just basically make your content schedule on like, okay, I'm really interested in Harry Potter. I'll make a ton of videos based on this question. So it's just a matter of finding what's relevant and making sure you fit in that niche. That's just my take on it.
What's your game plan for the Harry Potter game? Like in terms of
streaming it,
gaming content. Like what's you got any initial ideas?
Streaming it, the entire thing. So just having a solid breakdown of all the major missions and stuff like that. Because obviously there's gonna be people that are gonna put like the full thing with like all the what's it called, the cutscenes and stuff like that. I'll let other people do that. I want the experience of me playing it to be the main thing on board. So streaming it is huge. Clips, like finding clips of like cool moments in Hogwarts Legacy is huge.
There's going to be so much of that. There'll be so much of that. Yeah,
so much. Same.
So
so for
much
example, for all gamers, like all gamers can realize, if you were in TikTok at that point, Elden Ring TikTok was a thing. Elden Ring videos were popping up left, right, and center of people testing out builds, testing out huge moments with bosses.
So much content.
And just with Harry Potter, differences between the game and the books, things from the game that reference things that you see in the movies, all of that is going to be ripe for the taking, right? And again, it's just a matter of you being able to identify that, whether it be through experience or watching something through being like, oh, this is popping on Google Trends. Maybe I should take a look at that. It's just a matter of identifying what you're interested in and what people are searching for a specific topic.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. Yeah, I'm interested to see feel like my TikTok's going to be flooded with Harry Potter content as soon as I start consuming it.
Yep.
Just interested to know what people create. It's a very eagerly anticipated game. I hope it lives up to expectation.
Yeah. That happened to me recently. Sorry to cut you off. I just want to say that's so funny because I recently started my to post more on my gaming TikTok, and I was making a series about like cool moments in gaming, and I love Mortal Kombat. So like I liked one video about Mortal Kombat, and it just flooded me with like 30 different Mortal Kombat videos, and I'm like, no. I don't want to consume for 30 hours TikTok gods. No. But yeah.
Wait, this is on a new gaming TikTok.
Yeah. I have a gaming TikTok and an anime TikTok.
And then your main TikTok.
Correct. And then my Spanish one as well.
Oh, okay. So, and you also have one feature, the YouTube, your channel.
I
as
don't
well.
have that for Instagram because that'd be too much like reposting on my end. But like for YouTube, I do. And for TikTok, I do as well.
So then if you're doing gaming TikToks, what's then on your main stuff? Just pop culture,
TV and movies.
Films, movies. You're narrowing that down to TV and movies and not, because I remember I've seen you're doing all your Elden Ring stuff on your main, right? So these other stuff are relatively new in terms of.
Yeah, so like the new pages and stuff, they're some of them were new. The YouTube ones are definitely new, but for TikTok, I decided to segment because same thing. Like there, I don't like again, views can go up and down or whatever. But I've realized that like if I truly want to stand out for my format, it makes sense to just niche down into something. And I think TV and movies are adjacent enough to where like I can just pump out content there on my main page, and then use my my anime and gaming things on specific pages like that they can live on their own. That's also the added benefit to that is that, for example, if I'm not feeling today about posting anything movie or TV related, screw it, I'll put a gaming video in there and just be like, because it fits my page. Like my page is a pop culture page, right? So I'll be like, I didn't make a movie video today, screw it, I made 3 videos yesterday about gaming, I'll just post them on my main page and just keep that consistency going. And it just offers versatility and peace of mind, at least to me.
No, I agree completely for the segmentation of the different categories, because they are just to have
different audiences.
Narrow niche. It's a bit hard to take on at the start because you got to start again, really. But over the long run, if you have that, which I know you do, that long term perspective of this is a career, this is 2, 3, 5, 10 years potentially, like easily, like, and so building those from today really will always be. I always see creators kind of decide to segment their channels like really far down the line, and I always hear them say, I wish I did it earlier. I wish I had like made the decision to segment years ago, because now my audience is like, I want to create different types of content and I can't do it on this one channel. So I always find it something that's very common amongst people like yourself that do content creation, and then you want to start doing other things, but you've kind of got the recipe for success that you've shown on your main one. So I guess you just have to do the same stuff.
Sometimes I think I'm a madman, bro. Sometimes I think I'm a madman. But again, that's just it's what happens with anything, right? The main thing for me is I never want to get complacent. I hate that feeling of, for example, seeing a creator that I loved or imagining myself as a creator that people love and then just like going through the motions or making the same type of videos. I'm not going to get to that point. So for me, it's a lot about experimentation and seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. And obviously, like there's going to be obstacles on the road every single time. But for example, for every day that I'm like, damn, this didn't get the same amount of views that it would usually get, I remember that guy 30 years ago that was like struggling to get 10 views and be like, damn, is this actually worth it? Do I want to put my time into this? I should just be working. Like, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be where we're at, and like to be in a position where we can take advantage of this new wave of jobs and content creation in general, and the way that people interact with media is a blessing, man. So I'm just gonna take the ride as far as it takes me.
Nice. Yeah, Gary Vee always talks about stuff like that. Yeah, we just got opportunity of a lifetime to be able to reach so many more people than we could have ever reached before. And just everyone has something to say. Like, so yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
Just on the topic of like full time, would like to talk about like just maybe about like revenue and not into specifics, but kind of how you support yourself as a full time creator. I know a lot of people like finding the details about how have you diversified your income, and like where does it come from, kind of roughly.
So I don't remember who which finance guru or economist made this concept up, but I'm a big believer in diversifying your streams of revenue. So the usual rule of thumb is that you should have 7 streams of revenue across your life. to gain wealth, right? And I'm talking about like building generational wealth for your family, for your sons, children, grandchildren, whatever. So it can be you can basically trade your time for money, which is the traditional 9 to 5. But then you also have investments in the stock market. Then you have rental income that you can get from properties, dividends, what else? Interest payments from like putting money in the bank. So I don't want to get like too technical on the on the things. You can find Graham Stephan is great at that information. On YouTube if you want to get some more insight. But for me on the content side, it's mostly about brand collaborations. So one-off brand collaborations. I do recognize that sponsorships are the goal, like getting sponsored by an Elgato, a Razer, or somebody like that can sponsor you is good for keeping that chunk of money on a monthly basis that can keep your operations running. And then the other one is streaming. Like streaming is donations and bits and stuff like that. It's a little bit more intuitive on Twitch than it is on YouTube. But again, YouTube is monetizing shorts. So as you get to partner, you can start making money off your videos and stuff like that. The main thing for me, at least for me right now, is leveraging what I've been able to do on the one-off collaborations side to build out this solid YouTube ecosystem that can pay for itself, right? So for any upcoming creators, there's a lot of platforms that allow for influencers to check for new opportunities. I know, for example, obviously, obvious.ly allows for brands to put up opportunities and people just like go for it. One thing that did work for me that I recommend everybody do, put your business email in your bio. You don't necessarily have to put the city that you're in because some people are obviously like iffy about that when it comes to that. But for example, put the country that you're based on. Because like, for example, I've had brands reach out to me. It's like, where are you based? Because we thought you were based out of based out of Puerto Rico. And it's like, nope, I'm from Puerto Rico, but I'm based in the U.S. now, like in mainland U.S. now. Or for example, in your case, if you're based out of the UK or based out of Australia or based out of whatever, like it allows the brands to directly see, okay, this is a person from this part. This is the email where I can contact them. And then you go on from there. When it comes to finding more opportunities, I would say management does help. Like finding a manager or an agent does help, but that's a little bit further down the line. For anybody that's new, I would say business email for sure. Find out your country's rules for building an LLC or like a small company that you can start segmenting your revenue for, because you don't want to run into issues where like your personal income and your side hustle kind of conflict. You want to keep that as separated as possible on the business side. And again, nobody teaches you this. Like this is just something that you learn on your own. I learned partially through what I learned in grad school, partially through what I've seen online. Like you have to be a little bit more conscious about where you want this to go, how you can make this work on a financial standpoint, instead of just being like, I'll worry about it later when I'm actually making money. It makes a lot of sense for you to start early because you'll avoid yourself a lot of headaches moving forward. So again, your main if you're just starting, your main focus should be to get monetized on whichever platform it is that you're working on, and then to make sure that you have the tools, be it your business bio, your business email in your bio, and then building out an LLC or that relevant financial instrument to make a business, so you can allow brands to contact you and for you to make money from those collaborations and have that be allocated appropriately, I would say.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. Even just like having two separate bank accounts, one business or a business account and a personal account, I come under that headache where I'm just spending everything on my personal account and then having to go through my like account going, oh fuck, like so much less headache by just having, whenever I buy anything related to the business, whether it's
one bank
CPAR or this goes on this account, so I know these are all my business expenses. All of my paychecks come into here. I can see what's in and what's out. I can pull a report easily at the end of the tax year and done. Yeah. A lot of people don't. Yeah, like you said, a lot of people just think about that later, and then they're like, "Oh my god, this is now
Trust
a
me.
ball ache." What do you what do you think? What do you think about the YouTube Shorts monetization program? You have any thoughts on that?
Oof,
Just,
I'm praying, bro.
It's today, right?
Come on,
yesterday or today? Yesterday.
I'm
So,
praying, man.
are you qualified or not?
I am.
Because it is. You just have to be a part. I watched a
Partner.
video, and it was you just have to be a partner with the 4,000 hours, or with 4,000 watch hours over a year, or you can have now. There's a short metric which is 9. So you can qualify to be a partner without long form now to then qualify for monetization.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's like 9.
The metrics are crazy.
90 million over 3 months. 90 million shorts over 3 months.
The metrics for short form by itself are crazy. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. It's quite hard. It's easy.
hard.
Probably. I don't know. It was easier to go long for. I don't know. It's still. To be fair, they've probably I imagine they've done their data analysis and probably worked out like the top percent. What that is a representation of the percent. And, and how many creators they can afford to let in right now. When I don't really know many of the ins and outs of how much people are going to be making, what sort of views you need to be doing. Is it going to be? I mean, it can't be any worse than TikTok. Let's put it that way.
I don't think it's going to be worse.
You'd hope not.
So just to give you a little bit of context, it doesn't like the YouTube Shorts monetization by itself wasn't great, at least for in my experience, just by itself. You do get bonuses once you're partnered. So for example, once you reach a certain amount of views, you get like a bonus that you get paid through your AdSense. I'm praying that this is a solid, because I think the revenue ad split is going to be 50-50. And if that is so, if you get a video that blows up, you could potentially make a lot for a month, right? And this could help out a lot of creators that have, for example, built out their YouTube platform solely on shorts, which is partially, for example, what's happening to me right now, where like I built most of my audience on shorts, and the long form isn't doing as hot as I thought it would, at least on that specific platform. So maybe this can be a monetization platform just for shorts, and just have that be just a shorts channel, which is perfectly doable now. We're still in the Wild West. This happened yesterday. So if you, my biggest tips for anybody that's trying to get into that wave, the road to become a partner through long form content is very grindy, but it's worth it. So for example, what I did, right, to get to partner, it took me like a year roughly, but I was kind of like testing different things out. I streamed a lot, and streams count. So like if you're streaming a popular game, even like, and if you have a platform that has a viewership, let people know you're streaming, because that counts towards your monetization. So the 1,000 subs are in theory the easiest thing, because especially if you have a pre-existing platform. The 1,000 subs is fine. Obviously, you can the 2-step verification. Those are the easy ones. The hard one is the 4,000 watch hours. Streaming helped me a lot. A lot, especially in times where like I wasn't getting any views on the long form side. Streaming does help. And then I would say if there's a way that you can repost your old content on YouTube without watermarks, to obviously make it accessible for not to get flagged by the algorithm or whatever, that is a perfect way to not recycle but repurpose your content. If you're a creator that has been in this for like a year, you probably have dozens or hundreds of hours of content just sitting there that people haven't seen on that platform because you've never posted there. So if you want to get on that wave, reposting is a good way to start that channel off, and then just add value with time as you get used to posting on different platforms. That's at least been my MO. But I will say, if YouTube nails the monetization, TikTok is gonna have a problem.
Yeah, I was eagerly waiting to kind of back up you there. Like, well, I'm glad you said that, because if if the monetization is good or like I don't know, like desirable, like okay, like don't have to be Mr. Beast to be making good. Like, what do I need to make for 50K a year, right? And it's not like you don't have to be a million view creator. It's reasonable. Like, I think then if your goal is to be a content creator, like full time, like why are you prioritizing TikTok? It makes no sense. It makes no sense because then you're not getting that paycheck. And if you can now get that through short form, like, and make decent money, then I'm thinking people are going to be posting shorts and posting TikTok second. Whereas a lot of people post TikTok and then they go shorts. TikTok is the easier ego platform because you get lots of views quite quickly. And now, because I'm trying to think of it like that, like actually, I'm TikTok first at the moment, but I'm thinking actually, I need to be better at like thinking what does better on shorts. Because right now, when I post from TikTok to shorts don't do that well. They don't do. This does well on TikTok, doesn't do well on shorts, or like I find that if I edit to a shorter version, it does better on shorts for me personally. Anything 10 to 15 seconds does really well. Anything above 25 seconds does shit. Don't know why, just does. It's just one of the metrics that I've noticed as a like a key differentiator. And then I think as well that the other thing that leads on that is that people need partner. Okay, so I look at the short form numbers to get partner, really difficult. Okay, I'm going to do long form. I need to do long form as well. So I'm going to deliberately start doing long form so I can get the partner to monetize through shorts. And then, so even still, then that's what YouTube have got. Now you're creating long form content. They want you to be on the platform. Well, they want people to probably create more long form content than short form. Because probably the average, I would imagine the average session time for a user that watches long form is probably longer than for a short form. And that's what they want is session time. So I find it fascinating. Yeah, TikTok got to step up the game somehow, like because they're going to start losing more creators. People are going to be not posting.
I'm gonna be straight up. As soon as I saw like their competition, because they put out TikTok Pulse, which was like their response to the YouTube monetization, which is just adding ad revenue from select videos that they choose.
Not heard of this,
bro. It's kind of not intuitive because, for example, in on YouTube, you can choose once you're partnered, you choose which of your videos are monetized and which ones aren't. If you pass, obviously, the copyright and the language self-reporting that you do, which I've never had like that many problems with. You select which videos are monetized or aren't. And then that's when you start like seeing like ads, ad revenue pop through. On YouTube, they decided. They're the ones that decide which of your videos get put in front of people with ads. So I'm like, that doesn't really make any sense because you could have chosen a video that had 10,000 views and the video that had 10 million, which would have maybe paid my rent this month, is not getting any attention, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, there has to be more transparency, at least to me. Again, everybody can have their own opinions. There has to be some transparency for creators because, again, as somebody who's invested a ton of money into building this career, it sucks to see all of your effort be like go into vanity metrics. Because like, a couple million views can get you a couple thousand followers on YouTube, on TikTok, but that's not going to pay your rent. That's not going to pay your groceries. That's not going to pay your car payment. Like to be perfectly honest, you need close to maybe $2,000 a month to make this a career. It's a real thing. That's a solid number, at least in the United States, based on like inflation and the rising prices for renting. And like
everything.
cost of life. It's not a secret. Like everybody that lives knows that $2,000 a month is basically the minimum that you would need to kind of pull something out to kind of live in some sort of means, right? And I don't see that happening on TikTok. Let's just say that. I do see a lot of upside with competition. So like now that YouTube is putting this out, let's see how this monetization goes, because if the monetization is good, you could realistically have a mass exodus of creators that are like, screw this. I may have like 10 million or well, that's a lot. That's actually different. But like I might have like 1 million or 600K on TikTok, but I can barely pay my groceries, where I could move these people to YouTube and have a solid career. Like that's a genuine conversation we could be having in 6 months' time. So I that's why I, for example, always push out people to experiment and put their stuff in different platforms, because you never know, you're one video away from building a solid platform somewhere and having that be your next passion project and build out your career there. That's just my take.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, I've been interesting to see the shift in the bigger creators and what they do. The people that probably sit above 100K that are coming into the point where social media is more serious for them, and they're not offering a set of services that like consultation, like some TikTokers do, but actually they're relying on their content to kind of generate their income through ad revenue.
Because if you have your own, like if you offer consulting services, that's another thing. Like if you're a creator that like offers like a product, or you're selling something, that's a whole different story, because sales can take care of that burden a little bit when it comes to your reach. But for example, somebody like me, I'm being perfectly honest, most of my revenue comes from my reach and what that means to companies. Like how many eyes can we put this in front of, and can we pay them accordingly to have that opportunity, right? So that's what's going to happen for a lot of creators that are just starting out, that don't have a product to sell. And that's just me telling you the weight of the land. It matters. It matters a lot. Like the ability to monetize that content based off of your reach matters if you want to make this a long-standing career. So it's interesting to see what YouTube does. It's interesting to see how TikTok responds, how Instagram responds, because Instagram also has the Reels bonus program, and then again, it's just a matter of where do you want to put your time. Because for example, for me, I realized
that is the ultimate question.
Yeah, because for example, I started on Twitch. I started everything on Twitch, and I was like, I do not want to spend 6 hours of my day streaming to 0 followers if I've never built a platform before. That makes no sense. That makes 0 sense.
Wait, you started on Twitch at when? Before TikTok? During TikTok?
So like as soon as I started making videos on TikTok, I started streaming on Twitch.
That's a common journey, isn't it?
So like putting clips on my TikTok. Hey, go check me out on Twitch, which is great. And I had a lot of fun, and I love the Twitch UI. The Twitch UI is gorgeous for like engagement, for the bits, the subs, the raids, the hype trains. YouTube hasn't figured that out completely yet.
Yeah, they haven't. Yeah.
But Twitch is so fun to create for. The issue is that the discoverability has always been an issue. So like if you're a creator, for the love of Christ or whatever you believe in, don't spend hours just like streaming to nobody if you haven't built other platforms. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You can cut down on the time that you spend, and you can stream your 2 hours, you can stream your 3 hours, and that's a solid stream to me. 3 hours out of your day is solid for streaming. But I wouldn't spend 6 hours streaming, A, if you're not recording that content and repurposing that into clips. B, have a YouTube, a TikTok, an Instagram, a Snapchat, or whatever it is that you want to put that stuff out there. It doesn't make any sense, because discoverability is really complicated, especially when it's so saturated. That's just my take. That's why I decided to leave Twitch, because I felt that my time was better spent streaming, but also making sure that stream could have segments that I could repurpose into YouTube videos, or into TikToks, or into Shorts, or Instagram Reels. That will give you a lot more bang for your buck time-wise, if you want to make this a career.
I wish everybody listened to that advice, because it's just the advice that I try and preach and people don't listen. And I see people often streaming, saying they stream to 5 people 6 days a week, and then I look at their TikToks, and it's either not they don't post on TikTok, or the quality of their TikTok, without being too harsh, is just not good enough. It's just not that good, and the creative threshold is too high right now. And like what you said,
Mm-hmm.
it's better to allocate your time elsewhere. Like I do, I'm so like all about like just being like, what's your goal here? Like, is your goal to just have fun?
Yeah.
If your goal is to have fun, do you know what? Fuck it, stream as much as you like. If you really love streaming and that's what makes you happy, and you just want to have fun, make friends, stream 7 days a week. I don't give a fuck. But as soon as you start to get more serious, because you start making money, which inevitably most streamers do, I reckon they do it. Yeah, I want to try and have fun, and then when the money starts coming in, and like, oh, maybe I want to quit my job at the supermarket, or in my IT job, or my boring 9 to 5. How do I now start better using my time to make more money, or building myself up longer term to make more money? And I think then they come to that point like, oh shit,
I don't have enough
I
time.
don't know
in
what
the
to
day.
do. Yeah, now I don't know what to do. I actually, to a point that you made there, or I thought, I actually don't think it's a bad thing that Twitch doesn't have any discoverability, because it forces you to go and create content elsewhere.
Boom.
If Twitch had discoverability, it wouldn't force people to diversify, because they wouldn't need to do anything other platforms, and they would be suckered to one platform. So I actually don't think it's a bad thing. And I think Twitch probably knows that as well. Like I know that there are being made more efforts with a letter that went out to the community last week about the efforts to increase discoverability on Twitch. But again, I think if you want to be a long-term, sustainable, full-time content creator, you don't have to have Twitch streaming, but streaming short form and long form. Like be good at all of them. You don't have to be. But like, at least, like you said, like going back to your point of attempting, trying things new, try all of them, see what you like, see what you don't like. Stream this game, or try this way of streaming, or try this short form, try this different short form, and get to a point where your time is being optimized for what you enjoy and what's going to make you money and sustainable.
One thing that I would say to add to that is something that I've learned and I'm applying even to this day. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be solid and consistent. Once you have something that you know quality-wise, whether it be your audio, the video, something, you don't have to. I bought a camera now after 3 years of making content with a webcam. Like, you don't. Yeah, dude, 3 years. 3 years I was recording with a Kiyo, bro. $99. Best $99 I ever spent, bro. Because I was making content with, like, or my phone. Your phone. I use my phone with the Cam Link. I used the Elgato Cam Link, and I recorded a 1080p or 4K with my phone. That's the barrier to entry is so low. All you have to worry about is being solid when it comes to delivering something that makes sense, whether it be the audio, the video, the visuals, or whatever you can do with your setup, and be consistent. You don't want to like stream, and then this is more relevant to streamers, for example. It doesn't make any sense to worry about like, oh, I suck because I don't have the SM7B, or it sucks because I don't have the camera and all. And Tim the Tatman has the camera that I want, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. None of all of that is just those are just improvements that you make once you get to a level that this is something that you are sure you want to dedicate your time to. But if you're doing your 9 to 5. And you want to do something that makes sense to build out a side hustle that can then turn into your full-time job, don't worry about the vanity metrics or the equipment. Just worry about building something that's solid and consistent, because it's a marathon. It is not a sprint. Content creation is not a sprint. People say it is. Those are unicorns. There's people that make their first video and go viral. Those are the gods bless them. The algorithm gods bless them, okay? For everybody that can that's striving to build a consistent fan base to make this a career long term, it's gonna be a grind. But as long as you're consistent, it's worth it.
Yeah, 100%.
I wish I wish somebody had this conversation with me when I was like starting out, bro. This is gold. This is gold for you.
It's cliche, but like it's just consistency is like whenever I think about what, like, just to tell someone, it's just be consistent and just kind of focus on that, the 1%. Focus on just like getting, I see Mr. Beast talk about a lot. I see other people, top creators, just focus on being consistent and just making your content 1% better each time. Whether the lighting is a bit better, you spent more time on your hook, your script is a bit better, you film in a different location, like just something to keep improving. Because the biggest thing that I see when it comes to creators or smaller creators getting started, not making any progress, is their content, it just all looks the same. It doesn't look like they're really trying to change things up and to do different things and to experiment with new ideas. Like, and they're like, oh, I just can't go viral. I'm stuck on 200-300 views. I'm like, because you're just showing no fucking creativity. Like, this is content creation. You've got to be creative. You can't just like, you got to think about stuff and just take yourself out of your comfort zone and just try things. And if it flops, it flops. Fuck it. You go, okay, it didn't work.
Yep.
I'm gonna try. But you know what? Next week I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try something different. I found for me that is like, that's how I like creating content. I love it when I come up with a new idea and I post it. And I don't give a fuck whether it works. If it works, I'm like, well, guess. If it doesn't, I'm like, do you know what? I'm proud because I did something new and different out of my comfort zone. And do you know what? I liked it. I liked it as well. I liked the idea behind it. It didn't work, but didn't do well. But do you know what? Like, I'll pat myself on the back and say, yeah, I'm happy with that piece of content.
I agree. And there's another lesson there that we can add is that the first time you do it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be like that's bad content. It just means that maybe you packaged it in a way that was different. I've seen videos on TikTok of people be like, I've posted the same video 4 different times. I changed the hook. I changed the ending. I made it a loop instead of a question at the end. There's multiple ways that you can repackage the same piece of content and have it do well. For example, an experience that I will never forget is a video that I made that I was really proud of. And I got like, I mean, at this point, just as a frame of reference, I think I had like a million followers on TikTok. So it was like, obviously, there's supposed to be like a standard there, but it got like 5,000 views. And I was like, damn, I spent like 3 hours editing this, bro. There's no way this got like 5,000 views. I posted it on Instagram and it got like 300K views. So maybe it wasn't that the video was bad. Maybe it was just that I repackaged it really horribly for that specific platform. And you never know. Maybe you just have to make the video 3 seconds shorter, or use a different trending audio, or maybe change the hook. Like, but you'll never know unless you iterate. So that's what we're trying to say. That's all we're trying to do. Get you to play.
Yeah. No, I completely agree on that piece of like different. I'm very like a huge preacher of like, it's annoying, it costs time, but you do have to, if you really want to stand out on all platforms, you do have to think about tailoring content for each platform. Now, a lot of creators are now saying, or a lot of the gurus are saying, yeah, just repurpose your content, like just post it on TikTok, shorts, reels, Facebook reels. And I think, unfortunately, like, we're now into this super competitive space where that doesn't really work that well anymore. Because you see people that do really well on TikTok, post it on shorts, it does shit. Post it on reels, it does shit. And you think, why is that? It's because each of the platform has a different audience. They might like that content, but they are consuming that content on a different platform and they like to consume it in a different way. So, Instagram Reels is just the obvious one. It's just aesthetics. It's like lots of aesthetics, like visually pleasing, shorter content, or much shorter content. I find like sound, all about sound, all about aesthetics. And the sound is so important. TikTok, the TikTok sounds aren't as important as Instagram. And so like just reposting a TikTok onto Instagram and not thinking about the sound, I'm like, but you're posting it on Reels, but not even thinking about the sound. I'm like, whoa.
What are you doing?
You have to be thinking about sound. Yeah. And again, that's time consuming. But at the end of the day, in this day and age, in the competitive spaces that we're in, like, you kind of have to like be thinking, okay, well, what is it that's doing well on shorts? Like, and how can I create more of that? like once you've done that, like you said, obviously that testing, that feedback, once you've like done 50 to 100 posts on a platform, which of those are doing better on Shorts, which are doing better on TikTok, which are doing better on Reels? How can I then create a content? This is what I'm at the moment. How can I create a sustainable content workflow that consistently outputs equal amounts of content that's specific for each of those platforms?
Yeah.
Without it being like 7 for Instagram a week, 7 for Shorts, 7 for TikTok. I don't want to do that. I can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do 7 a week, can I do 2 that are specific to Reels, but I post it on all, 2 that are specific to TikTok, 2 that are specific to Shorts, so that every week I'm not just creating 7 that are just for TikTok and posting them on Shorts and Reels. I'm creating ones that have a little bit of tailoring for each platform.
I've never done that, and I think I'm actually going to take that to heart and try to, optimize that. It actually makes a ton of sense. Because that definitely allows for a lot of experimentation in terms of like tailoring something for a specific platform. And now that I think about it, it makes a ton of sense. Because, for example, some of my more popular videos on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts, were recorded in a specific manner versus the most popular ones on Instagram were edited with like a little bit higher quality, but were shorter. So that makes a ton of sense. That's a big W. I think. Yeah.
It's advice that I'm trying to give out, like, as just a thought, like, because it makes sense to me, like, because otherwise, if you just focus on, like I said, like, everyone is focusing on TikTok and what's doing well on TikTok, and then posts it to Shorts, and I got one. If one does well on Shorts, it's like, or Reels, it's a nice to have, It's like, oh yeah, nice, cool, wait, great, carry on posting on TikTok, but. Yeah, if you've got desires to grow on all 3, I mean, if you don't have any desires to grow on Shorts and Reels, then you don't have to do that. But like, I personally have desire to grow on Instagram because I know the brand potential on Instagram is a lot higher, and the money is a lot. Like the deals that you get from Instagram are a lot higher. If you can have a 50K plus Instagram account in a certain niche, you can get a lot higher brand deals than you can do on TikTok with a 50K.
Agreed.
Account. So.
Also, quick piece of knowledge and tips for anybody: never take the first offer that the brand offers. Never. You never take the first offer that a brand offers. You are always welcome to offer more in terms of like posting it on different platforms and leveraging your reach and your specific niche to get a higher price. You never take the first offer. Just
how would you do that then? They come in with a low ball and say, let's pick a figure, like they want you to do a TikTok for $500, right? That's the first offer. Like, how would you, what is it that, how would you approach that in raising it?
Yeah, I would literally say, based on previous collaborations and assessing my value based on those collaborations and how they've done, I'm expecting, I would be looking for compensation surrounding X amount. And if you want, if you want to expand the reach for that advertisement, I'm more than willing to to repost that same piece of content on my YouTube or on my Instagram for an additional fee of X amount of content, X amount of money, and then let me know. Obviously, you use your leverage. Let me know what the exclusivity rights are the usage rights are, because those would require an additional payment as well. Easy money. Just be as professional as possible, and they'll know that they're dealing with a professional, and they'll be like, okay, we have to be a little bit more careful. And you're more than welcome to say no. You're more than welcome to say no, because if they're the ones that reached out to you, that means that they want to work with you, or they want the space in your audience. So make sure that your value is reflected in that response, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's similar feedback that I've got from other creators in the
companies always lowball. Companies always lowball.
They try and lowball and take advantage of creators that don't know their worth. And even like just saying a couple of £100 dollars to a creator that doesn't work with brands sounds like, just to make a video, but actually, like, you're worth a lot more than that. Like when you start to know what people get paid, you're like, that's actually nothing.
You can actually do research on this, which is one thing that I started doing. So if you search up on Google, right, TikTok money calculator for like influencers, there's already platforms that allow you to basically give you a brief idea of what you should be asking for based on your followers, your average number of likes, your average posts,
nice.
or whatever. I'm seeing this. I know it's not that, at least for my account, at 30%, at 40%, at 50%. And don't feel scared to do that at 100%. Because you never know. Maybe you highball a little bit too much, and they're like, that's a little bit out of our reach, but we can definitely meet you here. And that's like 70, 80, 85% more than what they offered you initially. You would have never gotten that deal if you didn't highball yourself based on a value that you were comfortable with. Always go for a value that you're like, this is high, but I think this is worth it. But I think I'm worth this. So if you put that number out there and manifest it, I believe in manifestation heavily because it's worked for me. If you put out a number that you're like, this is a bit high, but I think my time and my platform is worth this, it's gonna work out. Trust me.
Yeah. I guess the worst they could say is no, or
lower.
Or they come a little bit lower, and you're like, okay, we'll
fine by me.
We'll take that because we got a 25% increase from their initial offer, and I know that's okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Before we wrap up, then, just curious, to know any kind of, we talked like what your goals are for the year. If you have any, like you've told me that, like YouTube long form is that the main thing this year? Like your main focus? Like if you could have anything at the end of the year, like what would it be with regards to content, or is there anything else that you're really trying to like work on yourself in your life, in your content workflow? Where do you want the most progress, I guess, is another way to frame it.
Where I want the most progress is the personal side. So as a creator, I've realized that especially in the niche that I am, I put a lot of myself, my personality, my attention, my creativity into this, but the lines between work and relaxation have blurred. For example, when people work a 9 to 5, they try to relax and watch sports, right? Now I watch sports because it's my work, or I go watch movies because I have to review them. I watch TV shows because I love the show, but I also have to review it, and I also have to do like other things. So like finding that balance of like, okay, I am detaching all content style. I'm not typing in my phone like details or Easter eggs that I want to review afterwards. I need to find a balance of what works for me in terms of putting enough of myself into the content to where my personality shines, but I also need time for myself. So that's the biggest goal on the personal side. On the content side, I want to monetize every platform. Nice. I want to monetize my. I don't need 100K because I'm a firm believer that those like set like follower goals are good to have like in the back of your brain, but as a smart goal, that doesn't work. Smart are like goals that are attainable, that you can have an actionable plan towards. I feel like that's a completely valid goal. I want to monetize every single platform that I have. So I want to monetize my gaming channel, my anime channel, my Spanish channel, wherever that takes me follower wise. That's fine by me. As long as it's making money for me, that works. Yeah. So I feel like those are more that can motivate me more to make more content than like I want 10K on every platform, because if you hit 8 at the end of the year, you're gonna be like, damn, I could have put a little bit more effort in. No, if you monetize that means you put in certain actionable steps to get to that point. Yeah. At least that's what my goal is. And obviously on the other side of the content, I want to host my first event. I want to host a screener for a movie, and I want to interview a couple of casts for upcoming TV shows and movies. I already did one, and I think I'm good at it, so I definitely want to do that for this upcoming year. I'm just putting it out into the universe. Hopefully it bounces back.
What sort of event, sorry, you wanted to run?
I want to host a screener events for movies. So, for example, an early screener for the new Batman movie, or an early screener where fans can go watch the movie early. We can talk about it on a stage. I've been to a couple of those events, and I definitely feel I can do that. And I can definitely host events in Spanish, for example. I want to do something in Spanish, but really, really, really prominently. So hopefully it works. See what happens.
Sounds good. I wish you all the best of luck. I love the personal
you, man.
side one as well. Like, I think that is like, I think it's clear to me that you're like, there's focus and intention on the non-work side, which is, I think a lot of creators struggle with that.
Yeah.
But it's super important for sustainability and health. And that's why I always massive on it in just like preventing burnout, right? You touched on it earlier. Like, because that is ultimately what's going to prevent burnout. And I saw recently Mr. Beast a video clip, or they keep popping on my TikTok now. I'm happy for that because it's fucking some good advice. He was like, like, I realized, like, after a time, like, I used to want to create content all the time. And he was like, when I am not creating content, I need to make sure that I'm really resting. I'm really just relaxing, chilling out, so that when I am working, I'm fully on
fired
it.
up.
Like, I'm fired up. But if I'm working all the time, I've got no time to relax, to recharge, to sleep, and to exercise, to eat well, to literally recharge and be ready. I was like, I wish everyone took that advice, because you do need that downtime and that relaxation to recharge, to be able to keep going and to keep going. Otherwise, you burn out. Like I see time and time again, and it happened to myself, and it was just because I just neglected shit that I think that didn't matter in the moment, and then it all catches up on you, right?
Yeah, it's definitely that balance that needs to be struck in order for you to actually do that. And I know Jimmy, for example, does like his walks. I know he's very big on like walking and just like forgetting everything, just going out on a walk, going out and then just calling a friend. That can be your source of peace, man. At least for me, it's yoga. I started doing yoga in the evenings. I just like virtual yoga sessions because I work out in the morning to kind of get that done and anchor my morning. But yoga, or if you like to paint. If you like to do what's it called, upholstery or whatever it makes sense for you, to just take some time out of your day to be present. That's where you find peace, man. That's where I thrive, I guess.
Nice. Well, Jose, thank you so much for the podcast.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed that whole episode. It was a really interesting talk. And anyone that's still watching, I'll post all the links down at the bottom to Jose's content. Please check it out, because I think you'll find it super valuable and interesting, and learn a lot for how to be a high level creator, I would say. So yeah, any final words before we wrap it up?
Nah, man. Thank you for putting this platform up for people to give give their thoughts and advice. And I definitely feel like this is worth it. This is a worthy way to invest time into learning from other creators that are going through the motions, for newer people that are inspired to make content, and they're gonna be that are going to be the top creators in the near future. So this is a great platform, and I thank you, man. As a fan and as a fellow creator, this is gold, bro. So gracias.
I love that.
Thank you.
Sweet. Thanks, man. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, man.